Oh, hello. I'm Gary Hayes, and I'd like to introduce a little story called A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift. It's a story where in order to solve the problem of an overwhelming number of beggars in Ireland in the late 1720s, the author Jonathan Swift suggested that people start eating babies. Now, I know this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but it caught the attention of the people, and they too agreed that something had to be done about the problem of human poverty. Swift used verbal irony and satire in order to catch the attention of the public on this pressing problem. After reading this story, my English 12 honors class decided to come up with our own modern proposal. After much debate, voting, and hard work, we decided our ridiculous proposal would be that we are from the Hedgesville School Improvement Committee, and that students could write up teachers. We formed groups and sent out interviewers and film crews to catch the reactions of several teachers in response to our ridiculous proposal. Let's take a look at what the teachers thought of our modern, modest proposal.
Our group is trying to propose the idea that students will be able to write up teachers.
So we just proposed a new idea of students being able to write teachers up for doing wrong things. What do you think about that?
Our club is proposing an idea that students will be able to write up teachers.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, our club is trying to propose the idea that students would be able to write up teachers. This is actually done in like other states and stuff.
Really?
As you can see, most teachers found our proposal quite ridiculous, so our plan was working. In order to continue in true Jonathan Swift style, our interviewers provided the teachers with several logical, ethical, or emotional appeals in order to make our crazy proposal more believable. Let's listen to several of those appeals.
If this thing went through, do you think it would be good or bad?
Writing teachers up by students?
Yeah. Not like just off the wall, students going crazy. Like reasonable things.
Done in a few other schools in other states, and it has been proven pretty successful because there were actually a few teachers that were doing bad things were actually fired. Some teachers might think this is a good idea because there are those teachers that like slack off and like let kids do whatever and have, you know, bad teaching, and they could, you know, get fired. There were actually like a few teachers like fired and stuff because
Not for like stupid stuff.
yeah, but I mean there was
Like
reason
legit
for it.
stuff.
And they'd only be able to have actual reasons to be able to do it.
Such as what? What are some of the reasons? Do you know?
I don't know if that's actually been decided yet or not.
So, but you don't know what in other places where
No.
examples of things
I don't have examples.
teachers were written for.
Has been like done in other states and stuff, and it's been proven pretty successful. But there were actually some teachers that were actually fired.
Pretty convincing, huh? Of course, our teachers had a lot to say in response to our ridiculous proposal, so let's take a look at some of their responses and suggestions.
Late, having their phones out, stuff like that.
Well, here's the deal. This is an institution. And institutions are different than what you see out in the real world. And what you have to get used to a lot of times is the fact that there are rules for one people and there are rules for others.
So would you say you're for it or against it?
I'm saying there's rules for teachers and there's rules for students. When you get your degree and you get hired for Berkeley County Schools, feel free to come in and drink coffee with me. But otherwise, you're not going to have a cup out.
My first thought is, oh no, there's no way.
Then you think about the teachers who don't really.
Yeah, there's some teachers like that.
I
That don't
understand.
do
I also, here's the thing. I think that a situation, there could be situations where a student who is upset with something that a teacher did that was not necessarily wrong, but they just didn't like, could be vindictive in trying to write up
Find
a teacher
things.
and get, or, and just maybe even fabricating things. I think it would have to be, that would be a big concern of mine, number one, is that a teacher who, you know, some student doesn't like, they gave me a C, and I'm gonna get them fired for it, or something like that. So that would be a big concern of mine. Another concern would be that there are channels for situations like I think that you're probably referring to, where a teacher has done something inappropriately, and there are already, you know, policies in place and ways to go about making sure that that teacher is whatever needs to be done. So the fact to have a student write up a teacher, I just think it's kind of backwards. I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
I wouldn't have a problem with students writing up teachers. My issue would be with who's in charge of reading those referrals. Would it be a student review board, or does administration take a look at these student referrals?
Well, it would most likely be an adult that would review everything, and they would have to make sure that the student would have good cause to do the write-up.
I think anytime you get to have a conversation about classroom teaching strategies, you should be included in that. This is what my plan is for today. This is how we're going to do that. You should be privy to that information. And if you want to know why we're learning things the way we're learning them, I don't think that's an inappropriate question to ask. And if you don't agree with how certain things are being taught, you have an opportunity to express that opinion. I don't think there's a problem with that. As long as students are in charge of the student review board of the student referrals, that's kind of coup d'etat-like, but I wouldn't have a problem with that.
We just basically want to know what would be your thoughts if that idea was proposed here?
I think I'd be all for it, as a matter of fact. You guys have 100 and so teachers in the building that hold you accountable every day.
Yeah.
And we have 4 administrators that hold us accountable. So that ratio doesn't seem right to me. If you guys were responsible for us and vice versa, it'd probably create some cohesion. Definitely keep me on my toes a little bit more. So yeah, I'd be all for it. I would, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. But I'm always on the ball, so I have nothing to worry about.
To me, it looks like Mr. Quinn was already trying to avoid a teacher write-up. From their responses, you can see that the teachers took our proposal very seriously. Of course, we didn't want them to really think our proposal was going to happen. So, before leaving them, we presented them with a letter saying, "You just got swifted," and explained the project. Here are some of their reactions.
A letter for you.
Thank you. Oh, I get to open it now?
Yeah.
Okay. You just got swifted. Oh my gosh! That is too... Yes. I like it.
All right.
That's funny. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
That's all we need.
Yeah, good luck with this.
All right.
That's really cool.
I have something to give you.
I get a plaque.
Just soap and that.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's all we need then. Thank you.
I have to open it now.
At the end of the section, same as the
I'm not offended. Very nicely done. Tell Mrs. Barney she did a good job.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, was my reaction okay though?
I think it's pretty good.
It's nice to meet you, though.
Very interesting, right? In the end, our project worked really well. Our modern proposal was ridiculous, our appeals helped prove our point, and the teachers provided the reactions and suggestions we were looking for. And so, a warning to all teachers out there, you better be good, because you never know what might happen.
You just got swifted!